How's it going, mate?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, good, good.
So tell me, you've had an incident.
Yeah, right. I was at a 40th last night, and like the property I was on, I don't know, I think it's about 3 acres or something like that, and it's surrounded by farmland, and I had my little off-road caravan there, and I was having a piss, and I saw this animal come like running sort of up over a crest, and then it was sort of running towards me, and I thought, that's a strange looking bloody dog. I wonder what a dog like that's doing out here. And then it started, and then it turned sideways, and it was just so long and like, the lopey sort of run that sort of makes it sort of look like it's injured sort of thing, but it wasn't injured. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. And I'm just like, I didn't even think to try and run to the car and grab the phone and stuff. I would have missed it if I had.
Sure.
But I just watched it. Probably a good 15 seconds, I reckon.
Yep.
And yeah, definitely a Thylacine, definitely.
Could you see?
I saw it, and interestingly, because I left, this was about 9:30 this morning, and I left at about 10:30, and I actually saw a fox going in the other direction, and it was a fully grown fox, and it was like tiny in comparison.
Okay, so this is a decent size.
Yeah, it was huge.
So, did you see anything other distinguishing features of it, like stripes and stuff, or you just saw it?
I didn't see any stripes.
Right.
It was just the way that it ran, and then the colour of it. Like, the colour was like a light tan colour.
Yep.
And it was like just really long. Like, its body was really long. It was no way was it a dog. And I went and asked, said to the owner of the house I was at, I said, is there any dogs over the road? And they said, yeah, there's a black dog.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, I think I just saw a Thylacine. But it was just the way that it ran, you know. It wasn't running like a dog runs. It was, how everybody always describes it, sort of like a loping sort of hopping run sort of thing. And when you first sort of look at it, you think, is that injured? But it was sort of like, it was like that dude from, what was his name, Paul something or other,
like Paul Day's footage.
Yeah, like Paul Day's, right? But it was only like about 150 metres away, like maybe 100 metres away.
And it was good light.
So I had like full view, and there was no trees or anything like that in the way.
Yeah, she's pretty barren country up there on the edges.
Yeah. It's
how far from the river's edge is the property?
It's a fair way up. It's like all dairy farms.
So there's all those dairies down on the floodplain there before you get to where you are above that.
Yeah, so
that's not far from Ponde, yeah?
Yeah, not far from Ponde.
Okay.
But yeah, above the floodplain, fair bit above the floodplain, but it came up from the floodplain.
Excellent. So it came from down near the river and was heading further inland.
Yeah, and then I think it sort of saw all the cars and everything, because there was like, I don't know, 5 caravans and like 20 cars or something, because everybody stayed over because it was a 40th with massive bonfire and everything.
Sure. Definitely.
Like, there's no other animal that it could have been.
Fair enough.
It was just like sort of that sort of loping run and just a long body and a long tail. I couldn't distinguish the shape of the head at all, but it was just, you know, the run, the length, and just the size of it.
So size of it in relation to what? Way bigger than a fox?
Way bigger than a fox.
As big as, say, a large male Labrador, only a different shaped body? Longer.
Yeah. Longer body. But yeah, definitely like the size of a Labrador, but with a longer body.
It's kind of like a corgi cross with a greyhound.
Well, yeah, sort of. So, you know, it was just long, and its tail was long.
Yep.
And its tail was straight as well. So its whole length was the thing that was fascinating. Like, because I just stood there, like, watching, and I was like, oh my fucking God.
So I've known you now for about 8 years, 7, 8 years.
Yep.
You've been in the group that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any other previous sightings before? I can't recall.
No, I had a audible one in 1992.
Oh, that's right, in Tassie.
So in the overland track in Tasmania.
Yeah, that's right. I remember now.
And I sprained my ankle, and like I was lopping along, and I was tracked by mother and her joeys.
Yep.
And the joeys were yipping. They were all, you know, they were quite excited, I think. I think, like, the mother was, like, up above me, keeping sort of in the scrub, but the sort of, the joeys were sort of making sort of, you know, excited yipping sounds.
Yep.
And I said to the rangers at the end, I said, I got tracked by a dog and some pups. And they're like, no dogs in there, mate.
Yeah.
It was definitely dogs. It was yipping like a dog.
Yep.
And they were like, no dogs in there, mate. No dogs for 40 kilometres from there.
Yep.
If there was a dog in there, we'd know.
Well, there's obviously something else in there they know about then, eh?
Exactly. Yeah. And that was in 92.
Yep.
That, and obviously, you know, like for the last 8 years or so, I've always sort of been, you know, looking out, because I do a lot of Ks, and I go to a lot of remote places.
Yep, back on the bikes.
And it was just spun out, like, I was just spun out, like, just to see it while I was having a piss. It was just like...
You're not the first person to see one while they've been having a leak.
Yeah, and the funny thing was that it was broad daylight as well, you know.
Yeah.
It was on a mission.
Didn't look at you?
Yeah, it looked at me, and that's when it looked at me, that's when it went back down behind the hill, because it was sort of running along it come up.
Bit of a gully there.
And then it went down again.
Okay.
And then I sort of walked, like I was about sort of 50 metres back from the driveway fence. So I would have had to walk backwards and then to go onto the road, to walk down the road to try and sit down and find it.
Keep an eye on it, yeah.
So I didn't do that. I just went to the fence and I looked down and I could see down the hill and the dip on the road, and it didn't cross.
Okay, so the gully's not very deep there, or it is?
It's sort of... It's not that deep, but it's quite undulating land.
Okay. Was it very wet up there at the moment?
It's not a sort of a rugged gully or anything like that. It's just sort of like, just sort of undulating, quite... I don't know. I think like there's a road not too far forwards down there, but it goes down into the floodplain, and all the floodplain is all wet.
Yep.
Still down that way because
from the floods. Yep.
Of the floods and stuff, and
the backwaters.
All the cows, all the dairy cows, they're all up at other people's farms, like
on higher ground.
The farm behind my mate's house, that had like heaps of Jersey cows in there today, and he was going, "Oh, that's a bit weird. Like they've never been that close to the back fence there before."
Yeah, okay, so it might have been stalking them a bit.
No, it was a fair way away from them. It was on the opposite side of the road, and
Okay.
they were sort of at the top of the hill behind the house that I was at.
Yep.
So, but there would have been, I don't know what it would have been doing, but it's definitely sort of, came up, and then it sort of was running along, and then it saw me standing there, and then it changed its direction, and then just went down out of sight. But
Okay.
there was like probably the first 5 seconds, it was sort of more sort of running towards me.
Okay, and then it changed
The
angle.
last 10 seconds, it was like sideways.
Yep.
So I got a really, really good look at the length of it, and the way that it ran as well.
Yep.
And it was nothing like a dog.
Awesome. Is it very dry up there still, or has there been much rain on top of that country above the floodplain?
It's quite green there now.
Yep.
When they've only just bought the house. When they moved in, which was at Easter time, it was just a dust bowl.
Yep.
But now it's quite green, and there was a field of canola.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, barley. There was a field of barley behind my mate's house, and all of his, he's got like town water, and it was a deceased estate, and they got a license to occupy, so he basically irrigated everything out of the town water, and got his whole place green, and then he's built a motorbike track for the kids as well.
Oh yeah, cool. So
the motorbike track's not obviously got anything growing on it anymore.
Sure.
But the land itself is quite quite green now, and all of the farms have sort of got green growth growing up through there as well.
You've had a good start to the winter over there this year.
Yeah, it's quite a swampy, that sort of floodplain along the side of the river all the way sort of down, towards Ponde sort of way, is quite swampy at the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of the water's stayed there. That was one of the first areas to get sort of hit. I think the levee failed or something, and that whole area flooded.
Okay.
But then other levees held, so it held a lot of water in.
Yep.
There, so.
Oh, it won't harm the country at all. Just be an inconvenience for the farmers for a while.
Yeah. So my mate's he's got all aviaries around the back of his house, which he's gonna knock down. So he'll have a view because he wants to be able to see the sun and the moon come up.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say, look, man, I fucking saw it. I've known him for 25 years.
Yep.
And I told everyone there. But I'm saying, look, just seriously, man, just like you leave for work, it's
Keep an eye out. Yeah.
7 o'clock every day. So just keep an eye out, because it was 9:30. And it would be part of its territory. It makes sense for the terrain, if you know what I mean, because it's got it's got the sort of it's got water, and it's got sort of animal paths, and in the other direction there was a very healthy fox that I saw.
As you go up the hill from there, heading inland, is there much scrub up there, or is it still farmland for a fair way? I can't remember. I haven't been out there for a long time.
Yeah, it's just all farmland.
Yep.
There's no scrub hardly at all.
So it's hugging that gully, moving up the hill.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the corridor.
They're like all these sort of sheds and stuff, and old sort of ruined sort of things on the other side of the road, but it's very sparse. There's a lot. It's mainly farm. It's mainly farmland. I presume that this property that they bought must have been sort of subdivided off of farmland at some stage, because it's got a bit of fencing, and it's got sort of like a run sort of area, and that he's got a couple of goats on it now, but it would have been part of the wider farm at some stage, I reckon.
Yeah, I get quite a few sightings from the Mannum side of the river, between Mannum, Morgan, and all the way down to Murray Bridge, really, but I don't get a lot from the other side of the river, so that's good that it was on the other side. That's excellent. Swan Reach has a few. And up towards Cadell as well.
That side of the river as well.
Yeah, Swan Reach is on that side of the river, so that's good. That's very good. Are you okay for me to use this as one of our interviews? I haven't mentioned any of your details.
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate.
All right, no worries. Cool beans.
Yeah. I'm super excited about it because.
Well, you're in the club now.
I know I definitely heard him in '92.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. I know that it wouldn't have been anything else.
Yeah, especially stalking you. They like to follow you. That first one that I saw followed me for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, this was about that amount of time as well. Maybe even like 15 minutes or so.
Yep.
And because I was injured as well, and I had somebody carry my backpack to Old Pillion Heart, and I was sort of limping along. And
you easy prey, buddy. You're lucky you made it out alive. If it had been a panther, you would have been dead meat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well, look, if you get a chance, have a chat to your mate and ask him to go down that gully and just have a look out for any footprints.
I didn't think of that,
Because that's why I was asking how wet it is up there, because there might be a bit of silt. There's always silt traps in those gullies where fine soil builds up after rain. He might pick up some prints. If he sees anything, get him to take a photo and ask him to put something next to it, like a 50-cent piece or whatever. Just send it through with a bit of a scale.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it was raining there today.
Oh, well, that's perfect. It may be a regular route for it, just coming up from a night's hunting down by the river. You just don't know. But then again, it might have been going inland to hunt and lives by the river.
Yeah.
Could be 6 of one, half a dozen the other, really.
Well, yeah, there is I think it's an old stone barn on across the road from where it would have sort of crossed the road, but it didn't cross the road. Yeah,
so it was obviously stopped.
Yeah, so it's gone down in the gully, and I don't know if it's done a loop back or not, because I've hung my head over the fence watching for a good minute or so,
and it hasn't come out.
And it hasn't come across the road.
May even be holding up in that old stone barn. You just don't know.
Yeah, or there might be like a culvert that goes underneath the road.
Oh yeah, and it's taking a shortcut. Yep, out of sight.
It's taking a shortcut there. So, but I was pretty fucking hungover. I fell asleep in front of the fire and woke up at about 5:30 in the morning, freezing cold.
That's my trick. I do that every time I go out with Mark Taylor and Mick. I always fall asleep in front of the fire.
Yeah, and then I went in my little caravan. I got a little 10-foot off-road caravan now.
Yeah.
I woke up at 8:30. and then just had a couple of cups of coffee, and then went over to I don't know what I was doing, but I had a piece, and that's when I saw it, and I was just like, that's strange. What's that fucking dog running so fast for? But then, bang, when it turned sideways, it's not a fucking dog.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. Awesome. That's going to go out ASAP on the YouTube.
Cool.
Good work.
Cool. Cheers, man.
All right, good on you, mate. Let me know if you find out any more about those prints.
Yeah, I will. I'll get him to go over there.
All right, good on you, mate.
All right, cheers, man.
All the best. Cheers.
Bye.